Let's talk about arbitrary challenges. That doesn't sound interesting when I just say arbitrary challenges, but I think I've discovered that life is full of them. So a couple of years ago, I personally entered my midlife crisis or existential crisis. Around the age of 37, 38, my life really started coming together in a way that freaked me out. By that point, I no longer had a baby. I mean, my daughter was a couple years old at that point, but as far as we were sleeping through the night, we were appointing our careers where we were making more money than we ever had before. We were no longer in debt like we had been most of our marriage. We had finally moved up to the suburbs where life is peaceful and we have land and it's great. Life almost got too easy and it freaked me out because it sort of, for so long, like I said, we'd been in debt. So when you get out of debt and then your salary nearly doubles just through how long you've been in your career, which happened basically to my wife and myself kind of at the same time. So my late 30s, it just freaked me out. Existential crisis. I was very open about it. I talked about it regularly here on my channel, and you can feel free to type that in, existential crisis. You'll find a series of videos I did as I was trying to sort that out. But now I'm past that. Age 40 was one of the most freeing experiences for me. But by the time I got to age 40, I'd sorted it out. How? Well, one way is I got a Jeep, and my Jeep is a stick shift. It's a 6-speed. It was an unnecessary challenge. I mean, I got a good deal on it because it's not an automatic transmission, and not as many people can drive a stick anymore. But it was an arbitrary challenge that somehow gave me more focus and direction. And then, of course, as you all know, I joined the gym about 1.5 years ago. Now, granted, I'm just now starting to really figure out what I'm doing and really majorly seeing the results that I wanted when I first started, but it's taking me that curve because I'd never really worked out in a gym before. So I do that. Well, likewise, my daughter does dance and gymnastics. My son does Taekwondo now. And now my wife has started Pure Barre. It's like this kind of ballet yoga thing, whatever. But all 4 of our members in our family have now decided that we're going to spend time and ultimately money and energy on something we don't have to do. I mean, we conceive it as fun, but ultimately it's hard work. Our muscles are sore. It makes our brains hurt even sometimes just think about what all we got to do. I mean, and for me, it's not just about lifting weights and doing all my cardio, my walks and stuff, but it's also my diet that is the majority of it. So we don't have to do these things, but they somehow give us more direction and focus and meaning in life. Now, those are just a few examples from my own personal life, but I think when it comes down to it, a lot of people realize that they need these arbitrary challenges that they place in their own life to give their life meaning. Now, I've always said, what's the meaning of life? That's to give meaning to life, and you can't do that if you're not investing in other people and building them up. But ultimately, what is happiness? Happiness is pleasure, engagement, and meaning. And there's something about creating those challenges for our lives that keep things interesting for us so that we don't get lazy and bored and end up watching a reality TV show wasting our mind. Now, granted, I can't put down the media stations, the networks for making that garbage, because ultimately there's enough bored people in the universe that they have to do that because they haven't got enough arbitrary challenges for them to focus on, where they just want to simply veg out and ultimately kind of cast judgment on other people, thinking, man, those people in that reality show are crazy. They're, at least my life's crazy, but I'm not as bad as they are. You know, that sort of thing. But I think in reading books would be another example of it, like even self-help, ways that you can think, how can I volunteer for a little bit more of a challenge in life so that I don't get complacent and lazy and judgmental? What are your thoughts on that concept? That we really need some arbitrary constructs, some arbitrary challenges in order to be happy. It's definitely true in my own life and my own family. I'm seeing it firsthand. I've just never really thought about it until just now. What are your thoughts? They belong right here.